call that came through onto Drive Time with Lexus Bill yesterday. A young man called Justice. The conversation was about how men with emotional and psychological stress. It was on the back of some statistics that showed that there are far more men committing suicide than women. And so the questions were being asked about how do men survive? How do men cope, with difficulties and hardships and, stress? This young man called in. I want you to hear what he said, the conversation that he had with Lexus. Just listen.
I'm short of words and just don't know what to say because I don't know what pushed me to just turn on my radio to listen to Joy FM. I even plan of committing suicide. I'm going through a lot in my marital problem.
Okay.
And I don't know who to talk to.
Right.
I don't know who to talk to. But your program has been very helpful to me this afternoon.
Okay.
And we are going through emotional torture. I'm telling you. Seriously.
I can hear that in your voice, Justice.
Yes.
But
yes. I don't have anybody to talk to.
No, now you do actually.
Yes.
Now you do. You have a friend on the radio. So just calm down for now. I can hear a lot of pain in your voice.
Yes.
But I think you are probably the reason why we're having this conversation because as men we have to be there for each other. Yeah?
Sure.
And the good thing is, look, we're here for you, okay? Okay. So for now, I just need you to calm down. Okay?
Okay.
Are you at home?
Currently, I just took my rope, went outside somewhere, and
you took your rope.
Yes.
Okay.
I almost committed suicide this afternoon.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know what. I just put on my radio and in my car and.
Yeah. Okay. So you are in your car now.
Come again.
So you are in your car now.
Yes, please.
Are you at home, by the way?
Not at home. A bit far from my house.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you know what we're going to do, bro?
I need your help.
Don't worry. Okay.
I need your help. Yeah.
Don't worry. We're here for you. Okay.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is this. I need you to talk to the first person you spoke to. That's my producer, right?
Okay.
And leave your phone number with him. Okay.
Okay.
My team is going to get in touch with you very shortly.
Okay.
We're going to connect you to somebody who will be there for you. Yeah.
Okay.
So don't end it at all. Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to promise me that?
Yes.
Justice?
Yes, please.
Justice?
Yes, please.
It's okay. Yeah?
Okay.
Don't worry. We'll be there for you. Okay?
Okay.
Morning Show. I just think about the number of odds that turned out in his favor yesterday, for which reason this man, Justice, is alive. He had already made a decision. He had already made a plan and set out to implement it. He had bought his rope and was driving to a location to end his life. He just happened to switch on his radio. Just happened to. If he had not switched on his radio, he would have ended his life.
Sadly, yes.
He switched it on. He heard the conversation that just happened to be about the situation he was in. If they had been talking about anything else when he switched on his radio, he would have ended his life. So he decided to call. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to call into any of our shows here before. It is not easy to get through. You have to be persistent. So if he had not got through, he would have ended his life. So just think about how lucky this one man was compared to the many others who end up taking the nuclear option because they never find an alternative way to deal with their stress, their emotional baggage and headaches and trauma and depression. Just think about the number of men who just think about it. Now, today's show is for all of us. It's not just for men. So listen, I want to hear from you. Before we even get into our conversation, I want to hear from you first. And there are only two questions on my mind. If you're a man and you're listening, I want to know, how are you doing? And how do you cope? When things get hard, who do you call? What do you do? That's what I want to hear from you. How are you doing? And how do you cope? If you're a woman, I want to know from you. Do you know how the men in your life are doing? Do you know for a fact? When you call your brother and you ask Eteseng, do you wait for a real answer? Do you actually know what's going on in his life? When your husband comes home and you meet him at the door with your update of how the day is going and the things you need him to do you actually check to see how he's doing? When people ask you, who knows what to say, do you actually think of the actual answer before you speak? Is he really fine? How are you helping him to cope? Call us, let's talk. This is the conversation that will save somebody's life. So please take your phone, 0302 216 541 055 1111 997, and be tweeting as well. We're going to share your tweets. Use the hashtag JoySMS. How are you and how do you cope? If you're a woman, do you know how the men in your life are doing? And how do you help them to cope? Edubwa is in Oyarefa. Edubwa, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Edubwa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very great.
I'm so glad to hear that.
How about you too?
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm doing well by
The
God's
topic
grace.
is interesting, and I'm very lucky today. I'm the first person, as the man was lucky yesterday.
Yes.
Well, like you said, I don't know his background, and is he married? Is he having children?
He said he was having marital problems.
Okay, so that was one of the issues. I don't know whether that is the main or not. Fine. You know the world we find ourselves in now. Such issues are not meant for maybe one or two people. It's everywhere. But in spite of all these ones, there is a need for us to attach ourselves to a source that we can find solace. And I know it's the gospel. Christ told us something. He said, without me, you can do nothing. Often do we think being successful is about wealth and what have you. We have people who are worthy, but I also know having peace. So I am coming from the direction that it is not about wealth or you don't have any trouble, this marriage, this day in, day out. We all see one or two, and people go through. If you say yours should lead you to a point that you maybe kill yourself or harm yourself, the other one too is also something I can say with the scriptures. It's even a taboo to do that, taking your life, because you don't owe it. You don't owe your life. None of us owe his own life. It is God who has given us, and so he has the power. So if you decide even to take it out, you are even violating the gospel, which is no good. So well, like you said, we need to inquire from our friends and also visit one another and know what are we going through. But I know above it all, the gospel is the ultimate. So we should all link up with the gospel. This 20th, that's tomorrow to 25th. There's a program coming on at the Independence Square. Let's all get there and see what God can do in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Edubwa. Thank you for calling us. Let's go to East Legon. Hi, Israel. Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
For Israel, God is in control. How are you, though?
I'm well, but I have been sad since yesterday. You know, I just came from the office when I tuned in and I heard you on the drive time, which was very much unusual. And then you were talking about the gentleman, and I don't know, when I heard the thing this morning, I wept. Forgive me if my voice is shaking that. I think we should also champion a cause of prioritizing mental health, and this should be not only on radio stations, but it should be in government manifestos. We should stop attaching mental health to only madness, because a lot of Ghanaians, we don't understand the importance of speaking to someone or seeing a shrink, or even just walking to the psychiatric hospital and saying you want to speak to a psychologist. We have attached it too much to madness, and it is really, really getting to everyone. Because, I mean, because why would somebody be proud in Ghana that me, I am OCD? Because just because they are maybe chemophobic or very chem, so they think that OCD is a normal thing to describe someone who is weak. You know, we don't understand mental health, and that is why we have such problems. You know, and you guys have exhausted all the points about men, the strengths of men and all, but we should really prioritize the campaign on mental health, and it will go a long way to change the society we find ourselves. So it's a really sad situation, and I don't know, I can't just stop weeping, and I hope the gentleman is fine. I hope he is doing well.
So Israel, tell us, I mean, how do you cope with hardships? Have you ever been through a tough time? What are the mechanisms or the tricks and tips that you used to get through a tough time as a man?
Well, I talk to people. I talk to people. My dad has been really, really helpful. My mom has been really helpful. I don't do a lot of friends, but I do family, and my family has been a wonderful family. To be very honest, my family has been very wonderful. There are people I can just speak at any time, and they listen to me, and they find solutions for me as well.
Yeah, thank you, Israel. Thank you so much for calling us. From East Legon to Kanishi. Hi, Fred.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Fred. Fred, how are you?
Thank you very much for this program this morning. You know, many of us are going through a lot, and this life that we're going through, or we are all passing through, it's not easy for many of us, but all that we do is to make sure that we encourage ourselves and then do what is right, what we can do, and then the one that we cannot do, we just measure ourselves and then move on. But it also becomes an accident, or anytime that you go through certain pressure, just something that you never planned that it should happen to you, but it all happens. And then you go through and then you move on. As in Ghana right now, we are going through what we are going through, but we have the heart and the perseverance heart that, we should keep on and then rise on from it. It doesn't matter, I will give you the chance to say that I'm going to destroy myself or I'm killing myself. So I tell you that Joy FM has been a medium that always takes me from certain things that brings me down. I've always used this medium to educate myself, to impact myself, to do a lot of things. And your medium has been a very good savior for many of us. Of course, if you hadn't come to that medium at that particular time, it would have been bad. And so we thank you very much. Keep on encouraging us, and may God richly bless you.
Fred, before you leave, when I asked how are you, you gave me an answer. You said that you are going through some things. But
yes, man, we are going through a lot.
Tell me,
men and women. Me myself, I'm going through a lot, but I won't tell you because just as you know, maybe one-on-one.
Well, Fred, I really hope you talk to someone, because that's the point of this conversation, that we want to encourage and talk.
Yes, so I know, but I'll chat to you.
Talk to someone. Talk to us, okay? All right, Fred. Thank you so much. You can reach us on our numbers even when the show is not on. You can still call Joy FM. If there's any support at all that you think we can give you, we will be happy to do so. Let's go to Spintex. Here's Nana. Hi, Nana. Good morning.
Hi, Kojo. Good morning. In fact, I have been sad since yesterday. Charlie, people are going through a lot. So my advice to women, look, if you are married, your husband come back from work, please ask him what is wrong with him. Because me, what I do now is, look, I used to be a grammar queen, but the way things are going, with these bond issues here and there, when he comes back, I ask him, if everything is all right with him, what can I do to make him happy? What can I contribute? Because sometimes you see him sitting down quietly. He doesn't want to talk because of these bond issues here and there. Please, we should try as women, as much as possible, that we can do something for this our husband. I'm just pleading with lady. Ask him, what is there anything you are not doing right? What can you do to help him? Please, because men hardly show emotion. And you, the Joy FM presenters, you too, when you have problems, who do you turn to? Because as human as you are, We know you guys go through a lot. Leslie, Kojo, Winston, whoever, the presenters, Edem Night, Philip Knight. Who do you talk to when you have problems? Even though you are helping us, who do you talk to? Good morning.
Nana, good morning. Such a thoughtful phone call. We appreciate you very, very much. You can call us too. 0302-216-541 055 1111 997. How are you? How are you doing? And how do you cope when things are hard? Brew is in Winneba. Brew, how are you?
I'm fine, Kojo.
Are you sure?
Oh, yes, I am fine by God's grace. I am fine. But I know what it is like to be where this gentleman got to.
You've been there before?
I wouldn't say so. You do, but I believe that a lot of people, especially males, do get to that point where you have these thoughts assailing you. You know, they come. As to whether you would allow it in is another thing, but we should not discount it. I remember one guy who called before me, maybe 2 calls before me, was saying something about then people should come to the Independence Square because something is happening. But you see, Kojo, there's a time, the Bible says there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. There comes a time when you need that physical contact with somebody who you can just vent to. And I think we've created a situation where sometimes we just don't seem to know where to go. This justice thing really got to me yesterday. Listening, I just thought, what if this call hadn't got through? I mean, my wife was listening in with me and says, thank God that call went through, you know. And so it gives us the opportunity that, you know, the Bible says time and chance happen to everybody. Time and chance happened to this guy yesterday, but what about those who probably don't have that? What happens to them? And so probably we need to open up our society and ourselves and be a friend. And the Bible says he who would have friends must first show himself friendly. We all need to step up and be more concerning. I think the guy who read the news, business news this morning, said when he sat in an Uber, he asked the driver, how are you? You know, those little things, those things probably help, especially in the times in which we are. I mean, I'm trying to finish my building here in Winneba, and it's been tough, and it's funny. I get, you know, workmen calling me and saying, "Pacho, people are desperate," you know, and one guy said, "No, maybe I know how much my bay. I'm so lock up," you know. But you see, so people are going through one stress or the other, and we need to be there for one another. It's not a time for pat answers. And there are people, sometimes you even hear people in the church who sit under the gospel are even contemplating suicide. So there's got to be some answer that's just beyond hearing this and hearing that. So we've got to really care and show care and express it and be on the lookout one for another. I think the society and what we're going through is making a lot of us become recluses. And it's not very helping. I just thought that we need to probably could be for America. We have Alcoholics Anonymous. Can we have Friendships Anonymous or something? People can just come up together and create cell groups in our communities where people can just come up and vent and talk. Whatever their religious affiliation, whatever status in society, whatever. We all need a friend. But can we go out there and be friends to someone? I think that's what it's about.
Brew, I'm so glad you called. So much to think about. I appreciate your call very, very much. You can call us too. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Michael is in Kufuridia. Michael, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Now, like you said, if you ask how are you, we are coping. Even if you are not very well, we are coping. But this issue, you know, sometimes society, when people attempt suicide, we ridicule them. Sometimes when somebody kills themselves in the read the papers, ridicule them. Or if it's about marital issues, or are they on your bow? I mean, we say a lot of things because we fail to put ourselves in the shoes of the people. You know, psychologists have said that, you know, many people have contemplated suicide once or twice in their lives. I have contemplated before. I mean, when I was having issues a very long time ago, I was imagining how I was going to jump into a river, or I was going to drink poison. I mean, do this that I went through some very big challenges in my life. You say, I've spoken to people who have tried it once or twice, not once, twice, over various issues. So society, how do we, talk to people who have these problems, people who or react to people who have attempted suicide? Do we ridicule them? So if I know I'm going to attempt suicide, and I know that if I fail, I'm going to be ridiculed. If it's about my problem with my girlfriend, people are going to insult me and they say, why is she the only lady in the world? I mean, we are going to have problems. So the churches, what roles are they playing in society, the workplaces, all these institutions? I remember I completed SHS with a friend who wanted to study medicine. Like they said, medical or suicide. He didn't get the chance to study medicine. He killed himself with his father's shotgun in their room at Koforia. Wow. So these issues are very worrying.
Michael, you said that it's happened to you not once but twice.
No, myself there, I just contemplated it. I didn't.
Okay. Why? What were you going through? What was it? A marital problem? Was it a financial problem? What was it that made you contemplate?
It had to do with getting admission to school. I mean, when I compared SHS, my way after SHS, getting to school or getting to work. I mean, I had a whole lot of running through my mind. I was not getting the chance. And I mean, the pressure from society, family, and the rest. I mean, pushed me. But thankfully, I had a lot of support. I said, this year, if I feel this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to end it all. And then some way, somehow, I still managed to hold on. And thankfully, things have gotten better now. But I said I've spoken to people who actually attempted it once and twice, and said that they did not. They did not die. I mean, at the last hour, people intervened. They were taken to the hospital.
Michael,
so like I said, these are big issues.
We thank God for your life. I'm so glad that your contemplation didn't go beyond contemplation, and you are now here with us to tell the story. God bless you. Thank you for calling. Pokwase is our next stop. George.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Doing super good by the grace of God.
Glad to hear it. George, how
do you... Thanks for the program. The hustle is real, though. The others are going through a lot, I can tell you. Completed school about 20 years ago. There's this roommate that I completed school with. Guy is still hanging around without a job. Can you imagine? Over 20 years.
Wow.
There's nothing at home. Nothing seems to be working for this guy. My situation was like that. And I decided that there's a God I want to pray. I changed my lifestyle, started praying, trusting fully in God. Because my situation just changed a lot. In less than 10 years now, I have my own house, I'm a class. Things are working. And it is just by the grace of God. I trust there is God. Whatever everybody is going through. Master, if you can just trust that God is there and He solves problems. I'm telling you, we can hustle and battle ourselves with every problems here and there. But if you can just see that there's a God and put your trust in Him, I'm a testimony. I can assure you, God will turn things around for people. And then, we try to do it on our own. It can't work. If you get to that stage, the only thing that is left for you is to pray. Pray and trust in God.
I trust you took some actions as well. You didn't just sit in your room.
Definitely. You can't just pray and then sleep. No. You have to take actions, of course. But, God connects people. You need that favor. You go and sit before somebody. Without doing anything, the thing is done. Those are things God can do. So I'm encouraging my brothers, I'm encouraging people. Put your trust in God. Things will turn around for you. Those who know me can testify to you, but now I'm a big boy. I help people. God has blessed me to that level that I can sustain a whole family. Now I'm the big man in my father's family, just because I prayed and trusted in God. My father's family, my mother's family.
Thank you for sharing that, George. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to OEB. Douglas, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
How are you doing?
Douglas, I'm well, and I'm glad to hear your voice. How are you?
I'm okay, Kojo. Kojo, do you know something? We live in a country where the frustration in the system now, it's something that I just can't wrap my head around it. Kojo, there are lots of things happening that we need to be careful. And it seems we are not even making noise about it. See, I'm just imagining, just like you said, what would have happened to this guy if the call hadn't gone through?
Yeah.
Kojo, you find yourself in a situation where whenever there is a family problem, you are the one they turn to. Everyone calling you. When friends have, they call you. Someone even sits somewhere and they imagine that you are so well to do. Someone just calls you and trying to seek help from you. But when you find yourself in trouble, who do you turn to? Kojo, I happen to know a few colleagues who I was working with them in a bank, one of the collapsed banks. And they were in a very good position. Now the bank collapsed. They happened to be absorbed by the bank that took over. And within a short time, what happened? The bank said, that is their new employer said, after perusing your documents, realized that one way or the other, you did not pass English and maths, the SSC or the O level or something. Now, could you ask yourself this question? There is someone who had, even though then not passed the English and maths, but then had done this matured examination, gone through the university, some had their master's, some had even chartered, and they were working for years. Now they found themselves unemployed. Any attempt to seek another job from the existing banks, because they are coming from a collapsed bank, it became a stigma on them. At least I know 2 people who are dead out of frustration. Because it's not easy going through every day knowing that you are once a solution to someone and now you don't find solution from anyone. It is not everyone who can just open up to someone and talk to, because you only people are working with some China. It's as good as what they call information center and alcohol, because that information is going out the streets.
Yeah.
It's very serious. And upon all these things, the frustration that our political elites are creating in this country is enough.
Douglas, are you sure you're okay?
Could you let me tell you something? Maybe you can find you can send a reporter. Go to these recruitment agencies who recruit for the Gulf countries and see people who are master's degree and all that, just to look for construction work in another country. I've been there and I know what I'm telling you. People have very good qualifications, and day in, day out, they are going to these recruitment agencies ready and willing to travel out. I'm not hardworking. I've heard someone saying Ghanaian youths are lazy. Those people should be very careful of those transfers. They should be careful with the things they say, because people are trying day back. It's just not working. They've tried, it's not working. People invest their money they have because we encourage them to go into entrepreneurship. Try, and then because of the system that we've created in this country, the businesses fail. And the best thing people can do is to jump out and start charging people they don't know. Because we should be very careful, because people find it difficult to speak out because of the system that we've created. The system is already frustrating everyone. There is no available jobs, and sometimes you see job opportunity, you call, and the kind of things you go and see there. Go and see them frustrated because you think you've gotten a job because they've called you to come for interview. You go and they will tell you, say, come and register with this amount. Your member will do now. What is happening?
Wow.
We could have lost our brother if we hadn't gone through. And then God used blessings to save him. Could you let me leave it here? There are others on the line. Thank you.
Douglas, we appreciate your call. Please look after yourself and don't let it get too much. Always find someone to talk to. I'm glad you got through to us today. Francis is in Adabraka. Francis, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm okay. Francis, are you sure you're okay?
That's very good.
Talk to me, my brother.
Yeah. I think with me as we really have to take a good look at the social media levels. We can see some of the actions or the intended actions of our friends or maybe their relatives. Their next plan on their social media could be WhatsApp, their status. It really happened to me. A friend of mine used to post this strange stuff. At least we were supposed to check, but we got to a point there was this self-isolation and those stuff. You see, when we are growing, we think about, planning, money stuff. Then got to a point we were seeing this strange stuff on one of my friends' photos. Not knowing he has already planned and then acted upon suicide in Tema. Then we had to get in touch with one of the guys and then check up on him. When they go to the house, he was lying down with blood protruding from the mouth and nose. So they had to rush him to the hospital, and then he was really saved. If we hadn't checked on him, the social media with the WhatsApp, sometimes you could see someone, a friend, going through, could be a breakup issue and other stuff. You have to check on the person. That's why it's in the Bible. It means we are stewards of our friends, and when we care, there is a reward. When we do not care, there is a punishment attached to it. So we have to look at that angle too. When you see someone, the things they post, you really have to ask them how they are doing, what they are going through.
Yeah.
That's
right.
My little. Yeah.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you. Selom is in Jamestown. Selom, how are you?
I'm fine. Right. You see, the suicide issue, we all have that problem. I myself, I can confess that on 3 occasions in my life, I contemplated suicide. But something within me would not allow me to do it.
What led you to that point? What led you to that point of contemplating suicide sometimes?
I am from the West constituency. Just on the 10th of April, a man, nobody even knew anything was happening to him, went to a land that belonged to the barracks, barracks, and then hanged himself from my hometown. The problem he was having was that he was working with a company, a transport company, and he was sacked from the work. He tried contacting the boss to beg a police so that they could take him back. He was not being taken back. And he had 2 children to look after.
Yeah.
You get the situation. So some of these things are being created by the society itself. The government that we have to is not showing concern to the welfare of the citizens. Now, if you are a man, you get slapped by a lady, and you go to the police station to go and report. Because the police people do something else. Sometimes they only laugh at you. How can a man be this thing? So sometimes men will not be able to come out, you see, to be able to discuss this thing openly. And in the report that we need the radio stations to, we should look at some of the songs that we play early in the morning. Are you getting it? Having this depression and a problem, and you wake up and you play a song like kata kata and this kind of thing that you say you want to swim with the big boss, but you can't drink. Are you getting it? So when you are playing those kind of things, what are you feeding a mind that wants to commit suicide? I get the situation. It means not man enough. You have to show that it's a man to go the extra length. So let's try and do something about this thing too. Thank you.
Thank you, Selom. Thanks. That's another angle to the conversation. I appreciate it. Yeah, we should be very careful what we put out into the atmosphere, because that can affect somebody's choices. George is in Lashibi. George, how are you?
God is faithful and doing well in yourself.
George, God is in control. Talk to me. How do you cope, George, when things are hard?
Yeah, the Lord is our strength. But I also want to play the devil's advocate here.
on the side of our public figures, our celebrities, the media. What I really want to caution against is the attention, because since yesterday when I heard it, I heard you on the drive time, and then this morning this issue came up. So I've been saddened. So I want to really say, if this guy had the drive time, and what is the name again?
Lexus?
Bill.
Yes.
Come again?
Lexus Bill, yes.
Lexus Bill, fine. If assuming he had Lexus Bill's number and called not into the program, probably maybe before the program or after the program, he wouldn't have had that attention. But because it was directly on air, that was the reason he had that attention. I really know what I am saying. We've all contemplated that before. I have been there 2010. The only consolation I took was the voice I heard from God. Thank God today I'm a man of God. 2010, I contemplated that because of the failures in businesses, society. I contemplated about. Glory be to God. I look at my family, what my children, very young, and my wife. So, quite apart from the voice I heard that don't do it, I look at my family and I said, if I had taken my life, where would my children be? Where would my wife be? I took consolation in that. And the voice that came unto me, glory be to God. God wanted to use me. That is why today I am alive, better. But I really want to speak to some of our celebrities that quite apart from being on air, when somebody calls you, please let us have that attention. We see many of them today in society. We attend to them. When some come to you, the frustrations in the system, the things that are happening today, if you happen to meet them, it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
So please, let us attend to them. Either you are on air or you are off air and somebody called for attention, please let us attend to them. Sometimes we even call the media off air. You don't get that attention. You send information. This is what is happening. You don't get that attention. They only attend when they are on air. So let us be very careful. And let us attend. Let us appreciate. Let us attend to everybody, irrespective of their structure, of wherever they are coming from. Let us do this, and I believe when we are able to do this, we will build a better society for ourselves. God richly bless you for the program. It has been very helpful. It has been a blessing, and I believe that it is bringing healing. It is bringing so many onto, especially the Nights program. There are many that even the lawyer in there, we have recommended his number. We have spoken to people. They have written to him. He is really helping them. It's not even taking a dime from them, because people are going through marital issues. People are going through challenging situations.
Hello? I think we've lost George there, but you said a lot, and thank you, George, for all the feedback. I can assure you that at least here at Joy, if we care about something, we care about it on air and off air. We apologize if you've tried to reach any of us and have had difficulties. You can imagine there are hundreds of people calling and texting us every day, so sometimes a few of them slip through the cracks. We try to deal with every caller and texter, but it's, as you can imagine, it's not always possible. Thank you for calling us, George. Let's go to Japong in the Volta region. I don't think we've had a call from Japong in a long time. Abu, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, George. Could you?
Yes, thanks for calling. How are you?
Thank you very much for this program. Yesterday, I was also part of the program, and I still did not recover from that guy's, what happened to that guy. But it is true. What I had wanted to say, the guy before me said some of them. Sometimes, some of the things you cannot say them on air. You understand? And sometimes you have each problem, and you go to the next person, then that person rather compound and put you in a difficult position as well. We only say we are fine, but we are not that fine. Myself, I'm going through some problem for 15 good years now. I'm still in it. but I've never contemplated committing suicide. I talked to a friend and who told me I should be careful not to commit suicide, and I told him that's the last thing I would think about. I don't see why I will. So thank you very much for this program, and then provide a platform so that, because it's not everything you can say on air, especially when it comes to marital problems, and most of us go through these things, but we are being asked not to wash your dirty linens outside and so forth and so that. So provide a platform, because Joy is our station. Joy is the station that we are addicted to, and yesterday our position has been vindicated that Joy FM is a station that must be listened to. And honestly, I'm too much impressed with what Alexis Bro did yesterday. So just like the guy said, give us another opportunity so that we can say something off air. Because myself, I have serious issue, honestly. So if you give me the opportunity, then I'll discuss that one with you off air. I don't want to say it on air, because it involves a high profile people who capitalize on my vulnerability, and they are trying to put me in a situation. In fact, they've even put me in an uncomfortable situation. You understand? So please, I will still really want to do that. So if you give me an opportunity, so I discuss my issue with you off air, I will really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But me, I've never contemplated suicide. That was the last thing I would think about.
Thank God for that. Abu, please don't hang up. Leave your number with our producers, okay, so that we can reach you after the show, and give you that opportunity to vent about what is on your mind, okay? Let's go to Swidro and take another call from Augustus. Augustus, how are you?
It's not really easy at all. I'm really suffering at the moment, and then you see, I'm a diabetic, and then I had this disease some 17 years ago. I've been trying every effort to sort of to get myself free, but I'm still going through hell. It has reached to the toxicity level where it has affected the entire system, serious erectile dysfunction. At the same time, I am blind, visually impaired. At the same time, and then my teeth are really beginning to remove.
Wow.
So I can't sleep for 3 hours the whole day. Serious burning sensation all over my body. So at the point in time, it's like, why am I suffering with this? So I think it's better for me to take my life. I've tried several attempts. Let's say 3 attempts or so, but the grace of God, sometimes when I make an attempt, I don't have to stop and then look into the sky and then pray, and then I'll stop it. I have some good Samaritan who were supporting me some couple of years back, but because of the economic austerity, when you call them, they don't sometimes pick your call. They don't attend to you at all. So there's a whole lot. I mean, if I should escape from problem, it would take the whole day.
My brother Augustus, at least you are the first caller to whom I can say I know exactly what you're going through. Listen to me, please. Leave your number. I'm going to put you in touch with some diabetes charities who can help you with your medication, because what you have is a control problem. Because you are not able to stay on top of your diabetes, that started to affect so many of your organs. You're already blind. But trust me, it could be worse. So we are going to make sure that you get some help, some support with your medication so that it does not get worse. Okay?
Okay, cool.
We are going to bring you back from the brink, because you should not be thinking about ending it. No, not at all. We are going to make sure that you can get the best quality of life possible. Please leave your phone number with the producers, and I will put you in touch with some charities, okay? Thank you so much for calling us, Augustus. Okay, let's take one more call. Let's go to Kumasi. Christopher, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to Love FM. How are you?
Very well, sir. Yourself, could you?
Christopher, I'm fine, and I'm glad you've called. Talk to me.
But yesterday I listened to the news in the evening, and it was something. I want to say that there's a lot of frustrations in the system. People are going through a lot, and so people need a platform like that to be able to share and pour out for help from areas that they think they can get help. You see, one of the things pastors are doing is that they are concentrating much on heaven. They don't teach their members about emotional intelligence, how you can handle frustration, pain, tough times and all that. They are so heavily minded that heaven. You do this, you buy car, you travel abroad, but they don't teach their congregation how to stand firm in terms of crisis. I want to make a quick suggestion that out of the morning show, let's say from 5:45 in the morning to like 9 or 9:30, you can get 30 minutes, 20 minutes. That time, from let's say 8 or 9, then get a psychologist just 10 minutes to talk about some of these things. People lack ideas, and so when they have problems, they think that when they kill themselves, that's the only antidote. And so some will hang themselves, some will do all kinds of things because the knowledge is not there. It's a knowledge challenge. So when we create that platform, this early morning service that the Reverend Abu says and the Kojo Frimpons are doing. You see, some people when they sleep, they wake up the next day. So they don't listen to this religious program. But this time like this, 10 minutes, it will have somebody. So that we can also reduce this NDC, NPP that's even not benefiting anybody in this country. But there's a lot of frustration in the system. And so do that for us. And I know that it will help us today. You guys are doing well. But that includes what I'm saying into your system. Talk to management. And let's see what will happen. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Let's say from 8 to 8:15. A psychologist, a man of God should come and talk about some of these things affecting people's lives. And that we don't even have anywhere to go and say these things. Pastors are charging. Before you can see a pastor in Ghana, you have to pay. But if you have this platform for us, inshallah, to go a long way to help us. But I want to say that you guys are doing well. Kudos to you. If Lecture Bureau hadn't had that program yesterday, probably would have been saying a different thing today. The young man would have died or something. But there is no one to talk to. In times of trouble, these big men, if you want to go and see them, you don't know your life to see them. You call it, they won't pick. So there are no areas or quarters for people to be register their problems and their frustrations. So when you do that, I know that it will help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Christopher. Thanks for your suggestion, giving us a lot to think about. We appreciate that very much. Listen, I'm so glad that all of you made the time to call us, giving us a lot to think about. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but about half of the men who called have personally admitted that they've contemplated suicide.
Yeah.
That's important. We now have to look to the solutions. How do we save lives? How do we give men an outlet so that it doesn't get that far? Let's try and figure out how men can cope better with stress and emotional difficulties so that we don't end up taking such a horrible way out as suicide. Dr. Collins Bedu Ajiman joins us over the phones. He's the national president of the Ghana Psychological Association. Dr. Bedu, thank you for your time. Good morning. Do we have Dr. Collins Bedu on the line?
Yes.
There you are. Thank you so much for your time with us. Good morning. So, I suppose I should ask you, how are you, Dr. Bedu Ajiman?
It's very, very common and perfunctory to hear the response, I am fine, when you ask any Ghanaian, how are you?
Yeah.
So even when we are going through one challenge or the other, we still reply, I am fine. But let me say, I am very well, by grace. I'm doing very well. I am very sound, psychologically and socially.
I'm glad to hear it, Doc. So help us out, okay? I mean, it's obvious at least with the statistics of suicide, it's obvious that men are often leaving emotional and mental health problems unresolved until the point where they feel they have no alternative, no way out. What is it about the male psyche or the mental makeup of a man that makes it so hard for them to seek outlets when they are suffering stress or emotional difficulties?
Right. I think today our tone of voice have been very sober. All of us, if I look at content analysis of all our callers, you could see everyone is really touched, and it's rightly so. You are very right from the statistics. It is true, women are about 3 times more likely to attempt suicide, possibly as a result of the similar challenges men also experience. But unfortunately, men are about 2 to 4 times more likely to die by suicide. So while women go through a lot, they are more likely to attempt. But in terms of completion, more men. And the question you are asking, why? A number of reasons could be ascribed to this. And I must say our colleagues researching on suicide have chronicled a number of them. But the simplest one, and I want to speak very simple without feeling I'm in the classroom or I'm in a research platform.
We really appreciate
you know, men suck up and bottle up things, while women put their feelings, especially when they are in distress, they put their feelings in words. That is the first point I want to make. It is true, the challenges we face, many men go through a lot. Think of personal difficulties, conflict with loved ones. Both men and women experiences that. Being alone as a result of loss of a loved one, both men and women. Lack of income, loss of job, worries about the future. These are personal difficulties. Both gender go through that. Problems at work, being it conflict with colleagues, being in an extremely demanding organization, insecure job, you are not sure your future. These are work-related challenges. Then we have major threats even in our communities. Violence, social unrest, the outbreak of diseases, and especially lack of economic opportunity. So these are common things that are common to men. But one thing that we need to put in perspective, there are some psychosocial circumstances involved in the male side that makes them contemplate suicide. The point is the gender role orientation and socialization. When a man is born, right from babyhood, you are oriented to exhibit some machoism, as I call it. So there is a sense of macho culture created for men. You must man up. You must be different in terms of risk-taking. You must do things differently as perhaps women may do. So that kind of macho culture has not been helping us. And because of that macho culture, we won't speak up. We won't reach out for help. We won't try to contact those who may be readily available to give us the help, because we begin to think, or others may begin to think, maybe we are becoming weak. But I must say, masculinity is not invulnerability. Masculinity is never ever invulnerability. But our social orientation in Ghana, in most African countries, predispose men. By the time they want to express themselves, is possibly through a suicidal thoughts, because they think, I have no option. There is no option out. They have tried by themselves to handle matters. They never open up. They sucked it up. They couldn't speak about it. And for that matter, they begin to contemplate the only way out to avoid shame of not having been a man enough. The only way out to avoid people from pointing fingers at them for not living up to societal expectation is to think of exiting this world. So these are few that perhaps I can point to as to why we are having this particular situation in Ghana.
Let's try and figure out how to fix it. Since this, this is born of a desire for a man not to seem vulnerable, right? So how do we get men to address their emotional problems and stress and the things that lead them to suicide? How do we get them to address it without feeling like they are not masculine or that they are not putting themselves in at risk through being vulnerable?
Okay, so I think it is good, joyous, and you are leading the way when it comes to mental health discussions. I think we need men's mental health promotion. And let's adopt this simple slogan, AISH. Admit it, seek help. AISH. Admit it, seek help. If we are to hashtag this as part of men's mental health, a lot of people will come out. Then we need to create the avenue for these men to reach out, confidentially knowing that there are ears ready to listen uninterrupted, so that we can provide the viable alternative support options. So AISH, admit it, seek help. Men's mental health promotion. That is the first one that I want to say. Now, the second way, we need to provide what I call social support. How do we get the social support? Let's look at it from the family perspective. If you have a man in your home, whether you are married to the man or he's your brother, he's your cousin, whoever he is, let's be very observant. Let's check when people begin to behave differently. Let's notice signs of people veering off from who they have not been. Let's begin to take cognizance of some of the complaints. If the person, the man I'm living with, is beginning to all of a sudden feeling tired, beginning to be forgetful, inability to sleep well, then the person is irritable. The person begins to lack motivation for certain things that used not be the case. There is a loss of concentration, inability to complete project, task that the person may have started. The person begins to complain, my head, my back, and all that. Recurring headaches especially. And the person begins to perhaps come home late, and that is very unusual. The person all of a sudden has started drinking. Or sometimes it could even be some basic medical conditions, chest pain, digestive problems, elevated blood pressure levels all of a sudden, elevated high rate, and all that. Or sometimes sexually they used to be very active, very, very welcoming. All of a sudden they don't have that interest. Or inability to have erection within the shortest possible times. Or premature ejaculation. These are all clear symptoms that the person may be going through some distresses or some negative stresses. Social support will require that we begin to give help, listen to these people, reach out to them, even if they are not reaching out. So from the family perspective, this is what we need to do. We need to be observant and look out for these. Now, the same social support, let's go to the workplaces. At the workplaces, I think now more than ever, one of the three things that human resource managers, human capital managers, and directors are interested in is the mental health of every employee. And I listened to the advert before we started this conversation about CBG, saying we stand with you. Organizations must begin to stand with their employees. And rightly so, CBG as an organization, not an advert, has been standing with their people, providing mental health support for all their staff. And it has worked for them, it continues to work for them. I think we need replicates of organizations like these where we will stand with employees. Do not just provide medical support that will cater for malaria, tuberculosis, typhoid, and others. It should be holistic support, such that the health policy, not a medical policy, health policy should encapsulate mental health, dealing with stress, distresses, challenges, becoming optimal at work, health promotion, employee assisted programs, and what have you. That is a beautiful social support or corporate level support that we can give to employees. That is another. Now, the third option I will talk about is self-care priority. I loved it when someone said, Kwejo, Winston, all of you, who is taking care of you? I was saddened 2 weeks ago when we lost a media colleague to one of our sister agencies. Now you move in and realize many of you, media personnel, you tell the stories of others, you don't tell your own.
Yeah.
A lot of you are going through challenges, back to back, less rest, less hours of sleep, especially the field journalist. Some of you wake up so early and your day is disrupted. Your circadian rhythm, your sleeping pattern is disrupted. I must say that it is about time everyone listening to Joy FM now, and I know every single person is listening. Everyone listening must have a self-care time. Self-care means I want to prioritize me. Everyone must prioritize himself. Everyone needs to give attention to himself. You need to have a good sleep, 6 to 8 hours. And the 6 to 8 hours should not be with breaks. It should be consistent. If you sleep at 10, calculate 8 hours. It's enough. The body would have repaired all the worn out tissues and you are active for another day's run. 6 to 8 hours consistency of sleep. You need to have a good cry when you go through challenges. Please, it is not true that men in Ghana, as we do say, no. I think some of our proverbial sayings, we need to recalibrate them. Who told you men? When you cry, it's a beautiful, it's a ventilation. You let some of the challenges bottled up to leave. Women are good at that, and possibly that is why less women, when they attempt suicide, actually complete it, because they are more likely to put their feelings in words and crying. Men, we must begin to learn how to have a good cry, even in the quietness of our room, on our pillow. Let's do that, and that is also very helpful. That is also part of the self-care time. Next, it is not wrong to invest 100 Ghana cedis a whole year or every 6 months to go and have a good massage. Let your body be massaged. The tensions and backaches and what have you, that is also a beautiful way you begin to give yourself a treat. Next, we want to also remember that indeed meditating, prayer, belonging to a social setup, a group, being a church, club, what have you, healthy conversations, seminars, programs that encourages, these ones are also good for individuals. All in all, let me summarize my thoughts in terms of 4 A's in dealing with stressful situations. The 4 A's, I categorize them under 2. Whenever we are going through any stressful situation, I want to ask myself, can I change the situation? That is to say, do I have control over this situation? If the answer is yes, let's avoid that stressor. So let's say it's a very stressful work. Your BPs have been up since you accepted this work. It keeps going up anytime you go for review at the hospital. Can you avoid this situation? Do you have control? If the answer is yes, avoid the stressor. Should you leave that particular organization and look for another option? If it is yes, avoid it. That is the first A. Or can you alter that particular stressor? Can you adjust it a bit? Can you discuss with your boss to have flexi time? Can you discuss with your boss to take some days off in between? If that is also workable, then alter it. So when you have control over any stressful situation, then try to avoid the stressor if possible. Try to alter it. These are the first two A's.
Okay.
What about if I don't have control over it? Let's say the loss of a loved one causing me distress or stress. What do I do? In that case, we must learn to adapt. What was my husband doing that now I need to shoulder it alone? What adaptation strategies can I put in? So where you have no control, you can reverse that particular stressful situation. Learn to adapt or learn to accept. So you adapt, then you accept that, look, I had my loved one. My loved one is no more. I need to move on at some point in time. In trying to navigate these 4 A's, avoiding the stressor or altering it when you have control over it, or adapting and accepting when you don't have control over it, seeking professional help. Psychologists will help you to apply these 4 A's beautifully in your life such that your health will be optimal. Your holistic health will be highly, highly optimal.
Dr. Collins Bedu Ajiman, you've been a blessing to us this morning. Learned so much from you, just in terms of the simple tips you've given us about self-care time, about prioritizing ourselves, getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, having a good cry, having an occasional massage, and then socializing, church, clubs, and so forth. And most importantly, the 4 A's. If you can change the situation, avoid and alter are your 2 options. If you can't change the situation, adapt and accept. Doc, God bless you so much. These are useful tools that we can move forward with. But this is only the beginning of the conversation. Here at Joy, we've given a lot of thought to this, and there are things that we want to do. Lexus and I had a long conversation yesterday. There are things we want to do, and we will be announcing to you what we want to do to help men to cope with the stress that is all around us. For those of you who participated in our conversation, thank you so much.